Hey guys, Brenden Harden here with Wasatch Tenkara Rods and Salt Lake Tenkara Guides. Today we're going to do a quick video walking you through how to set up your Tenkara rod. For this video, we are going to be using the Wasatch Tenkara Rods snub nose. This rod is fishable at 4, 4.5, 5, and 5.5 feet. It is also currently the lightest rod on the market, coming in at just over an ounce. Walking through setup of this rod, we're going to use some fly line so it's easy to see the knots that I'm tying, and we're going to set this rod up with level line, tippet, and fly. So let's go ahead and jump in. As you first pull out your rod, you're going to go ahead, remove that tip plug, tip it forward, give it a little shake until that Lillian presents itself. The Lillian is going to be just a single piece of cordage out of the end of that rod. If you're setting up a new rod, that Lillian is going to just be straight. There will be no knots or anything in it. So the very first thing you would do is tie just a simple overhand knot in the end of that, inching that knot down or millimetering that knot down till you get it to the end of that cordage, making it to where you have the most amount of Lillian that you can work with. The reason I like to do this is in the future, if that spot that I'm tying my line onto is wearing out, I can cut it back just a little bit, tie a new knot in it, and I can still use that rod without having to replace the tip section or the Lillian to do so. Now, as we're setting up our level line, the very first thing we're going to do is pull out a section of level line, and we're going to tie a slip knot in the end of that. So to do that, we're going to take the first step is doing the exact same thing you would do if we were doing an overhand knot. So cross your tag end over the main body of your line. I like to have that crossover section being closest to myself. It makes it a little bit easier for me. We're going to now take that tag end, we're going to wrap around the back, so the far side from you once, making a second little loop, and twice, making a third little loop. Now we're going to take that tag end and we're going to go from the side closest to yourself through everything and pinch it between your two fingers. Now grab this bigger loop, cinch everything down, and you now have a slip knot. If you tied it right and you're practicing, if you pull on that slip knot, pull it out the end, everything will slide out. And then in the tag end, after I tie that, I like to throw again just a little overhand knot, so I have somewhere for my fingernails to grab onto and catch when I'm trying to swap my line out. So we're going to go ahead, and I've tied that into my level line. We're going to go ahead and tie that onto our main line here. So again, we're going to feed our Lillian through that slip knot. We're going to cinch everything down and slide that slip knot straight to the end, butting up on that overhand knot that you've already tied in your Lillian. Next, you're going to measure out how much line you want. You're going to do this by extending the rod out to its shortest length generally. For me, with this particular rod, I know that I don't normally fish it at shorter than 5 feet, so I would go ahead and take this rod out to 5 feet. I'm going to run it to the length that I want. I generally like to cut mine about 6 inches longer than the rod that I'm using. It gives me a little bit more flexibility as far as how I'm set up. So now we're going to go ahead and tie a tippet on. So from cutting, after you cut that to length, we're going to go ahead, grab our tippet, cut a section that fits where you're fishing and your personal preference. I personally run between 18 inches and 2 feet of tippet when I'm setting up my tippet for the first time. I will then fish that until it gets down to between 8 and 10 inches normally, from replacing flies, swapping flies, things like that. And then I will go ahead and replace that section of tippet. Now, the first time that I'm tying on a tippet, I'm going to, again, use the fly line, and this time a piece of level line to show you how I tie this together. We're going to do the same first step as we would if we were tying a overhand knot. Then, instead of just going through that loop once like we do with an overhand knot, we're going to go through that loop twice, taking the tag end of your level line and the full body of your tippet through that. Then as we cinch it down, we're going to go ahead and wet that line, cinch everything together, and now that line is going to be secured together. It's not going anywhere. We then come in, take our 2 tag ends, trim those. I normally leave about 1/4 of an inch of line from my cut to, or on the tag ends there. That way everything's not going to pull out. And that's going to be how you tie the double surgeon's knot when you're setting this line up. Now, in the future, if I'm replacing this level line because it got, if I'm replacing my tippet because it got too short, I'm going to take that same knot that I tied to tie on my Lillian, and I'm going to use that knot to tie on a new section of tippet. So you'd take that, you would then go to what was your double surgeon, trim off any extra of that tippet that was previously there. We're going to put that through your level line through your tippet twice, cinch everything down, and then slide everything tight up against that knot. And now you're set up with a new piece of tippet. Now, as far as tippets to your fly go, for this, because a fly is kind of hard to see what I'm doing, we're going to go ahead, we're going to use that main fly line again, but we're going to go ahead and use our scissors here as being our fly. So we're going to thread our fly on. There are several different ways to tie flies. Most people are going to be familiar with the one where you twist it 6 to 8 times. You then feed your tag end through the loop, back through the loop, cinch it down. Again, wetting that line is going to make it secure or not. Me personally, I like to speed things up a little bit. So we're going to thread our line through our fly. We're going to use our pinky to capture where that fly is at. We're going to grab the rest of the line. So this is going to be the exact way that you're going to grab your line. Down underneath, hook your fly, 1, 2, pull that tag end through, cinch it all down, trim your tag, you're good to go. Now, as you're practicing that knot, do it without your fly, hook it around, down under, 1, 2. If you tie this knot correctly, just like that slip knot at the beginning, it's going to go ahead and pull right out, making it easy to continue to practice that knot on the same fly, or on the same line, excuse me. That's going to conclude this video. In the future, if you're looking for specific information and we haven't produced a video on it, reach out to either myself, Nathan, or Ruben. We're happy to get those videos produced. That way you guys have the content that you're looking for to be successful on the stream. In the future, we're going to continue making how-to videos. We're going to make videos talking about different rods, different lines, different setups. That way you guys can make educated decisions as you're looking to get your next rod. Thanks for tuning in. If you are looking to purchase a rod from Wasatch Tenkara Rods, use code SL10Kara at checkout. That's going to be capital S, capital L, capital T, Nkara. So SLTENKARA. That'll give you 15% off on your purchase. Feel free to use that at any point for any of your future purchases. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. We look forward to working with you in the future and potentially seeing you guys out on the water. Tight lines.